What's going on, everybody? Got another beer review for you today. Today we'll be taking a look at the Cart by Offshoot Brewing Company. Now, Offshoot Brewing Company, if you're not familiar, is an offshoot of the brewery in Placentia. The brewery also has Taro. Now, Taro is where they do all their wild fermentations and sours to keep those separate from the rest of the population of their beers so they don't have another infection outbreak like they had before. They learned their mistake and they're doing it big. But a little bit of a side on this. Mr. Rue said he would never ever do an IPA with the brewery. Well, he kind of stuck to his word because this doesn't have the name The Brewery anywhere on it, but it's still the same guys, same team. So we're going to dive into this guy and take a look. This is your standard IPA. It's brewed with African Queen, Simcoe, and Eldorado hops, 2-row malt, Vienna, wheat, golden, and naked oats. Being an IPA from the brewery, you can see it's a hazy, so call it what you want. Hazy IPA, Vermont-style IPA, East Coast IPA, call it what you will, but the hop choices they've chosen in here, being Eldorado and Simcoe, it's pretty much straight West Coast hops. And I know for a fact they're using Gladiator yeast because, oh, it's right here on the can. And Gladiator yeast is propagated in Oregon. It's by a yeast manufacturer. Everything they do is certified organic. Why you would need organic yeast is beyond me, but that's their whole thing. So let's give this beer a taste. Ooh. Ooh. This thing smells really, really tropical. It's guava, mango with some citrus and some, like, for lack of a better term, like medicinal character underneath it. I'm pretty sure that's the African Queen. Could be a grape note, but it's in there in such a way that it's hard to tell what it is because it's buried underneath your other hops that everyone knows. Like Simcoe is going to give you citrus. So it's got this really complex aroma going on. And you can smell the alcohol sweetness coming off of it too, but the biggest note in the nose for sure is papaya. I mean, it's straight papaya, like right off the front with undertones of mango and citrus. I think the nose is better than the beer. It's not bad, but it's really, really balanced in such a way that nothing stands out as truly unique. It's not overly bitter. I mean, and you're going to get that for a hazy IPA. Typically, they're not going to be in-your-face bitter unless you're talking something from Electric down in Murrieta. Those guys make some hazy IPAs, and they're usually really juicy or really bitter. There's really not one in between. And this kind of rides that line of being juicy and bitter without any one character standing out too much. It's got a honey sweetness to it, and that's from the Vienna malt. Vienna malt has a pretty unique taste, a pretty distinct taste, and that's what I'm picking up in the body. And you can tell by the look of the beer that it's done with oats and wheat. It's labeled on the can that it has it, but you can just tell by looking at it. I mean, it looks almost like a juice. Well, this is the second offering from Offshoot Brewing Company, and it's not bad, but it doesn't stand out. And I don't know what the first offering was. I didn't have it, but I was actually just down at Taro earlier in the week, and they had the Path of Yeast Resistance, which was a offshoot beer. And let me tell you, that thing was delicious. If I wanted to bring the camera and do a beer review there, I would have, but it was kind of a last minute thing and we had to get there for Members Monday, so no big deal. By and large though, if you can get your hands on this still, which I don't think you can, pick it up and give it a shot. I would say this beer fits in as an introductory beer for people who don't like IPAs. So people who, you know, they go to get an IPA or you try to offer them an IPA and they're like, no thank you, I don't like drinking Christmas trees. This beer is actually perfect for that type of drinker because it's not piney. It's not very earthy. I mean, there are some earthy tones to it, but it's not massively herbaceous. It's kind of balanced in with all that tropical fruit, and it drinks like a juice. The mouth feels perfect, the color's perfect, the head's perfect, the aroma's not intimidating. For someone who's not an IPA drinker, this would be a fantastic beer to get them into the style. Now the problem here on the West Coast is you've got all these breweries doing Vermont-style IPAs, and everybody's trying to emulate Heady Topper. That is the granddaddy of the Vermont-style IPA. That's why it's called Vermont-style IPA. And you know, no one's really doing it the same, which is nice. Everyone's putting a West Coast spin on it, but we can't get Heady Topper here. So this is a good introduction, but again, if you can't pick it up anymore, I don't know what other breweries are going to be bringing out something that's this balanced. And if I had to give this beer an overall score, I'm not impressed by it, but I'm also not horribly disappointed. I would probably give this beer a 7.5 out of 10, just kind of like a C average. It's nothing amazing, nothing to write home about, but it's worth picking up as an introductory beer for people who don't drink hoppy IPAs. This is Chris. If you guys found this video useful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. As always, I appreciate your feedback and support. Thank you. Have a good day.